Parshas ReEh in Chamishi, the Aliyah of Chamishi, it begins with the famous words, Aser ta'aser es kol tvu asarecha. Tithe all of the crops of your field. Aser means give a tenth of all of your crops. And there are many drushas, many explanations in the Gemara of what this refers to. One of them is the Gemara says, Aser, if you will give the 10%, Te'asher, you will become wealthy, you'll become rich. This will guarantee, this will preserve your money. This will make sure that the money you have, Chas v'shalom, won't wander away, won't run away from you in doctor bills or other things, Chas v'shalom, lo aleinu rachmana litzlan. We know that the Torah tells us that Klal Yisrael, the Jewish people, are called Bnei Yisrael. That's our title, and the word Yisrael has tremendous significance. We know that Yaakov Avinu's name was changed to Yisrael when he engaged the angel of Esav in battle and defeated him. When he defeated him, that's when he was told, from this point on, your name will not be Yaakov, which is Miloshin Ekev. Ekev means the heel of the foot, on bottom, but rather your name will be Yisrael. The word Yisrael is comprised of two words, Li Rosh. To me belongs the head, the top, Li Rosh Yisrael. And the Torah says, Ki sorisa im Elokim vatuchol. Because you did battle, you engaged an angel, Elokim, in battle, and you defeated him, you won. So the title Yisrael is very special. One of the Meforshim writes that the word Yisrael actually includes all three forefathers and all four mothers of the Jewish people. The Yud stands for Yitzchak Yaakov, the Shin stands for Sarah, the Resh is Rivka, the Aleph is Avraham, and the Lamed is Leah. So in that one word, saying we are Bnei Yisrael, we're automatically saying that we come from these seven great tzaddikim, the three forefathers, the four mothers. He mentioned that this title applies to a Jew who observes the Torah, observes the mitzvahs. But the Meforshim bring that this mitzvah specifically, we know that money is one of the most important things in the physical world, in the materialistic world. The Torah and mitzvahs, the Zohar HaKodesh says, there is no comparison whatsoever to a mitzvah that a person performs with money, where they pay for it, or for free. Person buys a pair of tefillin, they buy a lulav and esrog, they buy a seat in a shul for Rosh Hashanah, they're called up to the Torah and they donate money to the shul because I was invited to the Torah. And I'm not blind, the shul has an electric bill. How's it going to happen? I don't ignore it. It's my privilege. They don't have to ask me. It's my privilege to be part of it, and that makes the aliyah an aliyah. That's what makes it important in the eyes of Hashem. If I put a value to it, if I show, I consider this important, the privilege of being invited up to the Torah. And in fact, the Meforshim point out that especially on the high holidays, on Rosh Hashanah, on Yom Kippur, the Arizal said, it's a tremendous zechus if a person can receive an aliyah to the Torah on those days. It's an incredible benefit, and again, a person buys it. Obviously, each person within their means, what they can afford, what they can do, etc. So here, the Meforshim point out on the words Aser Ta'aser, if you add up the numerical value of these two words, Aser Ta'aser, it equals 1,540. We know that in Lashon Kodesh, the number 1,000 is Aleph. Aleph is 1, Elef is 1,000. The word Yisrael, if we count the Aleph as Elef, the word Yisrael is 541. The gematria of Yisrael is 541, or 540 plus 1,000. And the Meforshim bring that it's this mitzvah, a Jew who can show faith in Hashem, because money is the most delicate thing, and it's the thing that's the easiest for a person to make the mistake and use that word, it's my money, I earned this money, I worked for this money, my house, my car, that kind of wording. And we had it recently in last week's Parsha, the previous Parsha, where the Torah warns, Hashem is going to bless you, you're going to be successful. V'rom levovecha v'shochachta es Hashem elokecha. You're going to become arrogant. You're going to forget Hashem. You're going to forget the Hashem in the equation. That you didn't do it. You worked. If you were a good Jew, you did work. You put in time and effort and everything, But that's only part of it. We explained many times that there are two pieces to success. The first piece is a person needs the right eitzah, the right advice. Should I invest in copper? I just saw this morning that there's a company, an Israeli company, they increased their revenues this year, this quarter, 26%, 27%. What are they selling? They're selling soda machines to make soda, to make seltzer. They found a way to do this well, a certain device or whatever, that from tap water you can convert it to seltzer. And you can make different flavors of seltzer. And they got this product into Walmart in the United States, so suddenly, boom, it's one of the most popular. What is seltzer? Sometimes you hear the ideas by which people have made millions and billions of dollars, and you laugh. It's nonsense. I remember years ago, there was a toy for kids, for little kids, which involved a plastic ring that they put around the foot. It had a rope attached with a string with a ball at the end. And they would play with this and dance, and the thing was nickel and dime. The nickel and dime became a multi-million-dollar successful product. Why? Because Hashem said so. Because Hashem put his blessing on it. Hashem gave this person the idea for this product. Why this person? Why not that? Hashem has his reasons why each person is given the particular idea to know which field to go into, which product, which job to take. Each two people right side by side grow up together. Person came up with an idea called tofuti years ago. Again, each thing is a bigger joke than the other, you would say. What ice cream? What's ice cream? You have 600 kinds of ice. So now there's 601 kinds of ice cream. No, this wasn't simple. This person had a problem with dairy, milk products. We know that the Torah tells us that there are people that think that the healthiest thing in the world is milk. And there are many places in the Torah where the Torah warns, stay away from milk, stay away from dairy products. It's only small children that for a certain period of their life it's important in the growth of the bones, the calcium, but for adults, less is more. And here a person who is struggling with milk and yet enjoy this ice cream, it's got to be a way to make ice cream without milk. Came up with an idea, a product, and worked on it for years and came out, boom! So Rav Nasan Zal explains, in order for any success to be achieved in the world, there's two steps. There's the eitzah, the idea, and then there's implementing it. It requires, once you get the idea, you can't sit at home with your hands folded. You have to do something. But when a person succeeds and then attributes all the success to himself, by forgetting his partner, leaving his partner out of it, a person would say, Rav Nasan Zal writes, partners usually 50-50 at least. Or in many cases, it's not even 50, it's 90-10 in certain cases, or 10-90. Or Rav Nasan Zal gives the example of people, sometimes you have a worker, a person who's managing a business, operating a business, and even though he's putting in tremendous difficult effort, he isn't even a partner in the business. They don't even give him a piece of the action. They give him a salary, 100,000, 200,000, but the owners of the company are making millions, and they're not cutting him in on that. So Rav Nasan says, look at Hashem's kindness. Look how benevolent. We're talking about Hashem. We're not talking about some CEO. We're not talking about a chairman of the board. We're talking about the chairman of the world, of all the worlds. And Hashem, with his infinite humility, says, you keep 90, we're partners, right? We're partners. We know who's important. You're important. So you keep 90, but just give me the 10. Give me the 10 to show that you acknowledge, you recognize that you're not everything. And if a person, chas v'shalom, if a person leaves that out, then they are implying that I am everything. I have no partners. It's mine. It's me, myself, and I. That's the partnership. It's the three of us. Me, myself, and I. I did this. I, my, that word. And Hashem began the 10 Commandments with Anoichi Hashem Aleikecha, that there's one I, and that's Hashem. We've mentioned in the past from the Baal Shem Tov that there's a Gemara, a famous Gemara in Chulin, where the Gemara says that what's written about Moshe Rabbeinu is far greater than what's written about Avraham Avinu and David HaMelech. Because by Avraham Avinu, He recognized Hashem. He showed recognition of Hashem. And when he stood before Hashem, he said, Hashem, compared to you, I'm dust and ashes. Anoichi ofar v'efer. David HaMelech said, a king, we're talking about a king, the most honorable, respected person in Judaism is the king. A parent can forgo their honor. Av shemochel al kvoidoi, kvoidoi mochel. A rabbi can forgo his kavod. He can forgive his kavod. Rav shemochel al kvoidoi, kvoidoi mochel. Melech shemochel al kvoidoi, ein kvoidoi mochel. The most honorable, respected person in Judaism is the king. And David HaMelech said, V'onoichi toilas v'lo yish. I'm a worm. I'm not even a person. I don't rate to be classified a person. So the Gemara says that's little league humility. Moshe Rabbeinu was much greater. Moshe Rabbeinu said, V'nachnu mo, we're nothing. He referred to himself as nothing. So the Baal Shem Tov asks, how much of a difference is there? If a person could honestly say, I'm a worm or I'm dust and ashes, how much of a big deal is it between saying that and saying I'm nothing? Why does the Gemara make an issue over this? So the Baal Shem Tov says, that's one way of reading it. Let me show you how to read the Gemara. Avram Avinu said, V'onoichi, I am dust and ashes. David HaMelech said, Onoichi toila, I am a worm. Moshe Rabbeinu didn't use the I word. He said, brother Aaron and me. He said, V'nachnu, we are nothing. Whenever he didn't have to use that I word, he wouldn't use the I word, period. Because I is only Hashem. There's one Hashem. He's the only one who's I. And this is one of the things that a Jew shows. When a Jew takes this item, which it seems everything is dependent on it. Everything in this world runs on money. And that's why it's so easy to be deceived. The Torah refers to it as Elilei Kesef ve'Elilei Zov, idols of gold and silver. We know that in certain countries they write on the money, in God we trust. Which is the God? This is the God, the dollar. This is what we trust, and proof is, if I don't have this in my bank, I have no confidence, no self-confidence. I feel like a nothing, a nobody, chas v'shalom. And if I have $5 million in the bank, or 50 million, I'm something, I have self-confidence. What are you, nuts? That's what your confidence is based on? Banks come and go. We've seen that. If you put your trust in that, chas v'shalom, there's going to come a time that you're going to be surprised, chas v'shalom. Whereas we say, in God we trust. That's the Elokim. It's not the dollar. I trust in Hashem. And if today I don't have, then I do two things. Number one, I recognize in one pocket, I know that if I don't have today, it's because Hashem knows that I don't need it today. Even though I'm screaming, ouch, I see somebody else is driving around in a car and my car is broken and I can't, and I want to replace it, but I can't. I don't have the money right now. I need a car. But if Hashem decided that today I don't have the money for it, then Hashem knows that today I don't really need a car. And I'll wait. And I'll thank Hashem that I'm blessed with feet. A car is a disease. A car promotes disease, illness. There are many people who have no muscles, no decent health, because they got trapped into a car. Nobody walks anymore. There's one day a week that you're allowed to walk if you're Jewish, on Shabbat. On Shabbos, you're permitted to use your feet. The rest of the week, into the garage, into the car. If you have to go next door, a block away, 3 blocks away, instead of using your feet, using the gift that Hashem gave us, to be able to walk, to be able to breathe, to be able to think. So in one pocket, a person has an attitude that if I don't have, I trust Hashem. Hashem knows exactly what I need. He knows when I need it. And I'll have it exactly at the right time, not 1 minute late and not 1 minute early. In the other pocket, the Torah teaches us, Anochi Hashem Elokecha, harchef picha v'amalehu, that sometimes Hashem says, open your mouth, ask for it. We don't just give it like this. Again, if you ask for it, if you talk to Hashem, then you're showing that you believe in Hashem. If you don't talk to Hashem, then again, you're implying that it's me, myself, and I. To the degree that a person is talking to Hashem on a daily basis, thanking Hashem for all the positive things in my life, and pleading with Hashem, begging with Hashem, not showing an arrogance, an attitude that it's coming to me, I'm owed. You are owed? You deserve? You're perfect. You're doing everything perfectly well, that Hashem has to jump and give you everything you want. If a person combines, if a person shows, and this is why the Aser Taser is Bigematro Yisrael, because in this issue of money and the issue of tzedakah, a person shows this recognition that it's not I, it's his. Every penny that I have comes from Hashem, and even having it already doesn't mean that I have it. I have it, I'm not secure that a minute later I'll get a phone call, Chas v'sham lo aleinu, I just made 10,000, so I feel like I'm on top of the world. Nobody's bigger than me, nobody's as smart as I am. Chas v'sham, I get hit with a bill for 15,000, and suddenly I'm not on top anymore. Suddenly I have to beg Hashem to look, where am I going to get the other 5? Who can get... I don't have it. This is why the Pasuk says, Tzivisa tzedek edoisecha ve'emuna ma'oid. A person shows their emuna. The faith in Hashem is shown especially when it comes to ma'oid. The word ma'oid is used in the Torah to refer to money, wealth, possessions. B'chol nafshecha u'v'chol ma'odecha, we say in the Kriya Shema. And this is why Rav Nosson Zal says that we find later, Nosoin titein loi, give. Just because you gave one time, you're not Hashem's gift to mankind. You gave once, so give again. Baruch Hashem, you're on this side of the fence. Baruch Hashem, you're not the one who's going around collecting who has to ask. Would you like to switch? The famous Tosfos in Tainus on Aser Ta'aser, where Tosfos says that there was a very wealthy person who had children. He was about to leave the world, and he gathered his sons around him, like the custom before a person passes away. And he said, let me tell you, boys, let me tell you the secret of my success. Every year when we harvest the crops, I make sure to separate the Hashem's portion. Continue in this path and you'll succeed also. Tosfos quotes a medrash that the first year after he passed away, they did it and they were happy and successful and the business was going great, major harvest. The second year, I think they did it again, but the third year, they made much more money. And they saw them loading up the wagons to send away for charity. They couldn't handle it. They couldn't see so much being given away. The Yetzer Hara played with them and said, look how much charity you're giving. Look how much you're giving away. And they said, stop, can't do it. And either sent none of it or part of it. The next year, Hashem changed the partnership. Hashem changed the lease, the agreement. They got the 10% and he withheld the 90%. The Torah tells us that a person who has tasted success, a person who has tasted wealth, and then chas v'sham lo aleinu, it's taken away, for them it's 100 times more difficult than a person who never had it. So they were in mourning. They were horrified and everything. One of their neighbors came to see them and he came dressed up like in his Shabbos clothes and party outfit. So they looked at him and they said, you're celebrating our failure? He said, I'm celebrating yours. I'm celebrating the greatness of Hashem. It was all in your hands. It was totally up to you. When you kept the partnership, when you kept the original deal, the 90-10, you keep 90, you give Hashem 10, Hashem was totally satisfied. He wasn't looking for more. When you decided that deal wasn't a good deal, you refused to go for the 10, Hashem said, no problem. He's got 2 contracts. This one, take A or B, take your pick. Hashem reversed the deal. And this is one of the things that we need to know, that the world we are in is called Olam HaSheker. Despite the fact that the Torah says we are Mamleches Kohanim, that we are the chosen people, the people of Hashem, and despite that, the majority of wealth is not in our hands. And within the Jewish nation, among the Jewish people, the majority of the wealthy people are not necessarily the ones who observe mitzvahs, who keep Shabbos, or even the basics of Judaism. So what's going on here? The answer is that we are in exile. We are in Golus. It's upside down. What you're seeing is not a normal picture. That's what we are living. We need to be reminded of it and be focused. And if we want to do a reality check, the reality check is in the Torah. This is the reality check. The Pasuk says, "Tzion b'mishpat tipoda v'shaveho b'tzedakah." We should be zeicha to see the Jewish nation redeemed completely, an end to the Golus, the glory of Am Yisrael and Eretz Yisrael with the coming of Moshiach, Binyan Beis Hamikdash, Me'er v'yameinu, Amen v'yamein.